I just sat down to start the work day for the law firm. I've been doing law venture stuff all morning. And I realized, I haven't broken the news to y'all. I hired my first employee. She's a case manager. It's probably going to be beneficial for all the law firm owners out there to see the system and implementations that I have in order to not only catch the case manager up to speed on active cases, but to teach and train the case manager and to keep everything organized, because this is the big, caveat here. My law firm is 100% virtual, which means my case manager is not in my office space. She is in Houston. I'm in Dallas. She's working from her home office virtually. And so that adds a little bit of a complication. That also adds some benefits as well. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to postpone law firm stuff right now, and I'm going to record this video that is completely not scripted, but we're going to wing it. I want to save you some time by referring to videos that I've already posted in the past. The first video is going to be my cheap alternative to law firm management software. In this video, you're going to learn about how I use a case binder, which is basically a glorified Microsoft Excel or Google Sheet, and a filing system in order to not need law firm management software. It keeps me highly organized. It automates a lot of what I need to be automated, and it works at scale. I've used my system at the law firm that I worked at before going solo. I've used it myself. I've been tinkering it while being just by myself, employee number one. And then now I've been implementing the same exact system with having my case manager in the picture, and she's been handling everything flawlessly. So if you want to see kind of the balling on a budget friendly system, check out this video. I'll cite a link above so you can. And then on top of that, also check out, if you're not familiar with Google Workspace, this video, How My Law Firm Stays Virtual, Google Workspace for Lawyers. This video will explain exactly what the title says. Google Workspace is how all the files and documents get saved. It's also connected to my Gmail, my mail, and then you're going to see some of the other perks that I've been using since hiring my case manager. But the big perk here is Google Workspace has Google Drive, which is where you're going to be saving folders and documents and sharing those folders and documents as well. So check out those two videos. That's going to save a lot of time on this video. What I'm going to show you now is basically my Google Workspace / Google Drive for Law Venture, because it's a little bit of a headache to have to worry about the confidentiality if I were to show you the Google Workspace / Google Drive of my actual law firm. I don't want to have to deal with that. First thing to look at here is the My Drive and the shared drives. So My Drive is basically like the filing system that I want to keep internally, that nobody else can really see unless I give them specific access to specific folders, files, whatever. And the reason for this type of partition between it's my eyes only versus something that employees can see is that some things I don't want employees to see, right? I have my accounting and tax documents under My Drive. I have more sensitive information under My Drive. And I also have cases that I don't want my case manager to really touch because they're a little bit more complicated. And those are ones that I'm just going to handle totally by myself. On the other hand, on cases that and files and folders that I want my case manager and all the future employees to have full access to, that's under shared drives. If I were to click this on my law firm, it would say shared drives, Stone Firm P LLC. And within that drive is when you start getting to all the folders where it's, current clients and other folders that are going to be relevant from the employee's perspective. For example, because I have Google Drive saved on my Mac, it's also implemented within the Finder. So current clients over here is a folder where the -js tells me, okay, this is the one that I'm working on. So this is connected to the My Drive. Closed cases are also under My Drive. I don't want employees going through closed cases. And so current clients though, that's under the shared drives. I know this, you could put like the -js or something on the folder title to help make it a little bit more sense for you if you aren't able to track it or remember it as well. And all of these other folders other than accounting is going to be accessible from the shared drives standpoint. So all that to say, if you're thinking about hiring someone or you're thinking about transitioning to being totally virtual and figuring out how exactly you're going to implement some partitions and protections from your perspective, then this is what I would recommend. It makes life a whole lot easier. Speaking of making life a whole lot easier, let's talk about how my case manager and I interact on a regular basis. So if I were to pull up my law firm's email, again, this is Law Ventures stuff, but you get the point. And I could click here to check out the mail. I get so much mail on Law Venture. What we've been doing is using this chat feature here. As you're chatting, you can upload photos, files, you can include emojis. I think you can include GIFs as well. And there's a quick button to also hop into a quick video conference call similar to Zoom. This is Google Meet for Google's perspective. And we do that a lot, to where if it's just a quick message, okay, back and forth, chat. Oh, okay, let's talk about how we're gonna handle this particular case. You good? I'm good. Here's the link to the Google Meet that is just, you don't have to go anywhere. It's all in the chat. And then we hop in a video call. I move my mic over like this, and then we're off to the races on the video call. And then I can choose to record the call, the video call that is, or I don't need to, and then I don't need to. So the chat function has been super helpful with just like the open communication, the quick questions. The way I see it is that's the equivalent of somebody walking into my office in order to ask me a question, in order to provide perspective. Spaces, this is a new one that we've been implementing, and I've actually really liked it. So let's see if we can test some things out here. So let's say I have a client named Bob Smith. That's a name I like to use a lot. And then what I would do is enter the client's name at the very top. If I want to add a description, I can. I typically don't. And then I would add my employee here so that my employee has access to the space. I think this is even going to be more helpful if you have more employees that you're trying to get involved on a client's case, to where this will bring the conversation more focused on that particular client. But I don't have an employee to show you through Law Ventures. So we're gonna go ahead and click create. And then notice what's going on here. So we basically have the equivalent of the chat that I was talking about earlier down below. This is where I was talking about you can start messing with the letters, the emojis, GIFs, you can upload files, and you can click this quick button to hop on a video meeting if you want to do that. And so you may be asking, whoa, Jarrett, why is there a chat here versus just like the chat up there? And what's your distinction? For me, what I told my case manager is like, look, if we're chatting about specific cases, then keep it in the space of the case. But what's even cooler is this feature, which is what I've been implementing a lot, are tasks. Because a case manager in my situation comes in cold on all the active cases that have been in existence since prior to her entering the picture. So she doesn't know where the last point of the case was and what she needs to be doing next. So I've been implementing this feature to where I'll type in, let's say, send LOR to first party insurer, add any extra details if I want to add. And then you put like a due date on it. So let's say it's a priority. It needs to be done today. At this point, I've assigned myself to do this task because it's just me. But what I've been doing is assigning the tasks for my case manager to be able to see exactly what she needs to be done. And the best part, as the boss here, the employer who wants to know what is being done, is as soon as she checks off the box, I get an alert on my side of like, hey, this has been done. And so I get to take a look at it and it's like, okay, boom, we're on to the next thing. We're on to the next thing. And then just think about a more scaled version of this, right? Like you have new spaces with all these clients, and then you start getting these alerts of like, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. And that's letting me know, okay, not only is she working on these things, but there's also progress that's being made on these cases. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. This is such a great tool in order to keep everyone organized and keep everyone in the loop, instead of like her having to like message me, did it, knocked it out, because I don't want her to spend too much time having to keep me in the loop, and that take it away from time of her being able to do things. So this is just a simple way in order to stay organized. One more thing I want to talk about here. So I have training material, and this is, I think, pretty important, especially if you're trying to scale. I've talked about this in another video where I'm using some of the PI playbook content in those videos in order to basically show and how I want cases to be handled, or the technical parts of how the technology works, right? Like, this is how you operate a case binder. This is how you download the Google sheet in order to turn it into an Excel, and this is where all the data, all of that goes into the training material. So I basically, especially early on, whenever I hired her, I was spending some time kind of what the PI playbook didn't necessarily talk about or wasn't specific enough for my law firm. I would take it a step further and just do a screen record similar to what I'm doing now, and screen record exactly, hey, this is what I do, and so this is what I want you to do, and here are the step-by-step ways of doing that, all in the screen record. So that way, if she were to do it one time and then not need to do a particular task for, like, let's say a month and a half, but then it comes up again, she's not like, okay, what do I do? I don't want to ask Jared again. So maybe I can just like wing it and potentially mess up. I don't want her to do that. I want her to feel comfortable with what she's doing, know what she's doing. And so she can always refer back to these videos. And once these videos are made, they're basically evergreen. So if I end up hiring someone else to also help and assist with what she's doing, then it basically is like, I already have these videos in place, check it out, learn on what needs to be done. If you have any questions, ask the existing case manager. And then if she can't answer, then ask me a question. And this keeps everyone knowing exactly what to do. Okay, as you can probably tell, this is a simple system that I use, and it saves me a lot of money, and it keeps me organized, and it allows me to be optimized to go make more money. It's a great system that isn't overly complicated. My hope is, as you're watching it, you're not thinking, wow, I can't believe he has this incredible system. It looks so complicated and he's able to figure it out, and it must be so amazing to have employees who understand that. I hope that's not the case. If it is, then let me know where I'm losing you down in the comment section. Instead, I'd rather you be like, wow, that's impressive. He's able to run a law firm with an employee virtually with a really simple system. I think the genius is in the simplicity and the fact that I don't have to rely on law firm management software to stay organized. Means I'm also saving money because I'm virtual. There's parts of that I'm saving money on. And ultimately, the virtual aspect is requiring me to be as optimized and as efficient as I can be. So if you have any questions, you let me know in the comment section down below. We'll go through the typical outro. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, or if you just want to say hi, let me know in the comment section. As you're going down there, don't forget to hit the like button, because if you're still watching, hopefully that means you liked the video. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to do so. That's down below as well. I'll see you in the next one.